Hi everyone and welcome to another real-time coloring video. Today I'm gonna color the little spring gnomes from the Spring Gnomes stamp set by My Favorite Things. These are the most adorable gnomes and I had a lot of fun playing with them and kind of learning again how to color beards because that was a while. So I have added the little squares back again with the colors. I thought that would be good. Hopefully that helps you when you see me color. So these little gnomes are have these bunny ears. So I am doing them in these kind of Easter pastels. But I do believe, like we have that little carrot gnome, that one you can use anytime. And you can probably replace the little eggs with something else. Just doing a little bit of masking. You could probably just add some other cute stuff and continue using these gnomes even after Easter. But I love those bunny ears. So for the first gnome, I am actually using some yellows. I am not a yellow person. Here's the thing, all of the cards for this actually ended up having some yellow on them. I'm not a yellow person, but I really like this yellow blend. It is Y11, Y13, and Y15. It's more of like it's not as bright yellow. It has a little bit less of that brightness, and that kind of works with me. It's my vibe. So I decided to give this bunny yellow ears, yellow hat, and yellow gloves with those colors. They actually blend really good. The Y10, 10, 11, 13, 15 blends very, very good. For the pink, I wanted almost a little bit more of a purplish pink, so I'm using the RVs, and I'm going for the RV 2110, RV 00, and RV 000. In some cases, I'm using the RV 10, and in some cases, I don't. So the RV 10 is kind of a choice you can make if you want it or not. You don't need to add it to this combination, but sometimes I did, sometimes I didn't. For my greens, I'm using GO2, YG41, and YG11, and it's only on this little egg that I'm actually blending with the colors. Um, in the rest of the eggs, I'm actually using gray as a blending color, and then I'm using my mid colors just to color on top of it, or shading color. The gray is my shading color in those cases, and then I'm just using the mid color to color on top. It will give you a little bit of a muddier shadow, but it makes it quicker and much easier. So for these little beards, I have a couple of them, and I'm sorry about my thumb being in the way. I think I did angle the camera for this, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm trying to remember. I don't have as much time to craft anymore. I work full time nowadays, and I'm kind of exhausted at the day end because there's a lot of new things. I used recently, I started a new job in November and I got a promotion in February. So it's a lot of new things, learning and everything. So it's kind of chaotic. So I don't get as much time to craft, which means all of those kind of ways of working sometimes get forgotten. But anyhow. So for the beard, I'm just doing like little lines to give the beard a little bit of dimension. In this case, I'm using the whole range N4, N2, and N0. I like N together with these tones of colors because they are towards the cooler spectrum, but they are not cool as in the sea. So, and for the shoes, I'm using N6, N4, and N2. So I'm giving him like the whole grey booties. which I switch it up. All the bunnies are different, or the gnomes are actually different, both from how I color the beard, but also which colors I choose to put where and such. For the inner pink of the ear, I'm again using the RV21, RV00, and RV000. I think I would use RV10 also there. For the skin color, I'm using E21, E00, and E50. So I'm not doing those really deep contrast, or that really deep contrast. And the reason for that is because my other color combinations, the pinks, the yellow, and the green, they don't have a lot of contrast. And by reducing the contrast in everything else, you kind of get a little bit of a more cohesive image in this case. So I'm trying to keep at a pretty light color. Yeah, this is again one of those beards that I'm using the N4 as the darkest. I'm actually using a lot of N4 here. So this beard ended up being pretty dark gray. I'm using a hair technique on this old gnome. So where you kind of try to make tips that um, interjoin in between each other. Um, it was Zoe from Make It Crafty that taught me this. She had some really wonderful courses that you could take, like ebook courses, and one of those were showing how to do this. It was a real fun technique to do. So I thought I'd try it on the beard. So a lot of these images are actually just me playing and figuring things out again, and I had a lot of fun. It was I needed to get this I wanted to get this video up before for Easter, so it was a little bit stressful uh, because I am not at home right now. That is why it's also a different sound. I'm using a pair of earbuds to do the sound, so it's a little bit um, different. But hopefully it will be okay anyhow. I couldn't bring all of my equipment. But I really needed to do the coloring before the card making before we left. So it was a little bit stressful. But anyhow, as you see here you have that kind of zigzag pattern of the shine on the beard, and that was what I was talking about with the inter joining like little lines. So for the little hat for this little gnome, he's getting the pinks, the RV21, 10, 00, and 000. I'm trying to give the little hats some little different folds, but not giving them too much details. I want it to be pretty smooth and pretty easy. Um, I think when you make these kind of teeny tiny cards, you might want to make a lot of them, and then you want your coloring to be a little bit easier because you don't want to give out like 200 cards and then the coloring takes you 200 plus hours. It's not possible. So I try to do more simpler coloring, um, just add the darkness at the sort of right places. This is, I think, one of the few gnomes where you actually can see the arms. So I just added the same pink. So he's basically dressed in pink, this cute little gnome. Really like that. However, his ears is gonna be another color because I didn't like having pink in the ears and then pink on the outside of the ears. It felt pink on pink. I wanted to have a little bit more kind of separate details. He did get some gray shoes though. It's the last gnome that doesn't get gray shoes. I tried. The first gnome had the darker shoes, so I thought, well, I'm going to use the lighter grays to make the other shoes, but still not the perfect color. Here's how I shade my little eggs. I'm just using in this case the N0 to make like a little bit of a shading line. And that was it for the shading. It's super simple, it's super quick, it just follows the shape of the egg, with a little bit of a thicker line on one side and a little bit of a thinner line on the other side. It makes the egg feel more rounded without having to switch between all the colors. And then I'm using like mid-tone colors, the Y10, the YG41, and the Y13, to just color in the colors, to get them to color the eggs. And then I'm using again the same yellows for the little flowers in the gnomes, um, around the gnome's ears. I don't know, is it like a flower wreath maybe, that he can have on his head? I don't know. This is so hard. Um, then I'm using GO2 and YG41 and then YG11 for the ears because I thought, hey, he's gonna have green ears. Because I had yellow flowers, I felt yellow ears again with the yellow and yellow. So then I just replace it with the green. Here I'm going to show you one way of coloring a carrot, because I actually color some of the carrots, I think two of the carrots one way, and then I color them another way for the other ones because I realized, hey, this looks a little bit better. But yeah, so with this, I'm shadowing the tip of the carrot. I'm using YR15, YR21, and Y21 to color it. The Y21 has a slightly more yellow tone than the YR21, otherwise they're pretty similar. The YR21 will kind of leach the color out of the YR15, so I needed to use the YR15 twice and kind of build up a little bit more color in the carrots just because of that. And that is because it's a 5 versus a 1, and the step between those are a little bit too high. So there's much more alcohol in the markers that has the 1 than it is in the 5. And because the difference is so big, the alcohol will push more of the pigment into the paper, and it does that in a not even fashion. That is why you want to have color, like pretty close markers in between. Um, and also you can mix and match a little bit how you want. Like in this case, I have a green as my darkest color, which goes a little bit to the blue. Then I have the YG41, which is a yellow green, but it has a little bit more of kind of a blue tone. And then my last color is the YG11, and that is more of a yellow green. So kind of building up those colors. Here I'm actually going in with a green on green ears. I did all the green on this character, but green is, I kind of like green. Green is a common color. That is actually why you have green walls in hospitals, because it calms people. That it's a tone that brings you calm. So yeah, just a tidbit about that. So I actually did the ears, the hat, the feet, and the gloves green here, and I like this the most. So I wished I had gone for like matching booties on the other two, but because they were on different cards, it really didn't matter that much. Here I do my little pinky ears. I'm using the same pink in all of the ears. I don't know why I liked having pink in the ears, but inks ears are kind of thin, so they you can see a lot more redness in them, and therefore you can kind of more um, see these. I also went with pink flowers, so again here is pink on pink. So what I tried to do with the pink hat gnome, I totally threw out the window when I went in with this character. So it just shows that you really can play around with however you want when it comes to coloring. And again, I'm doing one of those kind of darker tipped carrots and going in with like lighter tip in the in the top. Actually, if you look at a real carrot, I think they are a little bit darker at the top and a little bit lighter at the bottom. So that is why I kind of switched up with the rest of the carrots later on. On this little character, I wanted it to work the opposite way of what I had worked with the other two gnomes. So I'm going with the lines from the inside and letting the tips being lighter. And I would again say there's nothing that is right or wrong with this. You can do whatever you want to. That's the fun with coloring. And I gave him a lot lighter beard. I just went in with the N0. So it looks more like he has a white beard with gray shading than a gray beard. For these little, I actually colored up 6 of these little eggs. I only used 5 of them. But again, I just made a little shadow on them. I made shadows on the different sides. I really didn't care about that when it came to actually putting the card together, but hey. I also inverted the dots. So for the little dotted egg on the pink gnome, I colored in the dots and let the egg be white, while on the yellow here, I actually colored in the egg and let the dots be white. If you wanted to have a little bit more oomph, you could color in those dots with, say, a jelly roll pen, either for the white dots to be more white, but also any kind of color. These details are so thin, so you could actually use kind of a yellow roll pen for all of the details and get them all glimmery and so on. But I kind of like just having these lighter pink and lighter colors and just going in easy um, on the eggs. This also makes it easier to use them for kind of side pieces because they will not, the eyes will not be pulled to them as much. And then you will kind of concentrate more on the gnomes, which was the idea behind these cards. So yeah. Then I just continued with the greens. And when the egg was done, I just went in and did the rest of the carrot. I really like how these little leaves turned out using the GO2. And the reason why I have structured with GO2 to the YG, towards the YGs, is because shadows usually are a little bit more blue toned or purpley toned than the rest, than the kind of highlights. The highlights usually go towards more of a yellow tone. It depends if you have highlights that are affected by light. But anyhow, it makes it a little bit, you get a little bit more depth just by using a bluer tone for the shadows and a more yellowy tone for the highlights. So that is also kind of magic. For these little carrots, I actually decided I'm gonna fill in the YR21 first, or the Y21 first. Then I went in with my darkest, and now I tipped the carrot, the kind of where the green stuff is where the darkest part was. Then I used the YR21 to blend that out, and then I blended out just the tip with the Y21, which actually kept more of the YR15 intact. So it was a little bit easier to blend. And that is all the coloring that I had time for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, please thumbs it up. It means a lot to me. If you have any questions, just comment down below. Down below, you find all the details and everything. If you want to see more like this, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you later. Bye!